Let's go.
And we're live.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
First of all, can everyone see us? Can everyone hear us?
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Amazing.
Fantastic. We've got a bunch of you on today.
And can you guys hear Scotty as well if you just say something?
Can you guys hear me? Sound good? Thank you for having me.
Our
They
pleasure.
can.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely pumped to have Scotty with us today. Leave a comment if you know who Scotty is, what he's all about. He runs Perspective Collective, which is this incredible community he's building. Amazing podcast, which I've got the honor of joining you on pretty soon, I believe, Scotty.
Yep. Got to lock down the time and date. That's on me right now.
Cool. Well, I'll
Sarah's
put that
in the
up in
Facebook group. Yes. Go Sarah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Facebook group is amazing, actually. I joined it recently. It's one of the most engaged that I've seen, like super nice bunch of people in there. So yeah, I am a personal fan of what you're building, Scotty. Excited to be working with you, and thank you for joining us today.
Amazing.
You.
Michelle just found you yesterday because we were posting about you, so that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bringing new fans.
Bring
Appreciate
our together, that's what we do.
So yeah, Scotty as well. Could you maybe tell us any gaps that I missed there, like what you're working on right now, a bit about what you do?
I'll give you the elevator pitch. Okay. So Scotty Russell, I create, speak, and teach under the platform Perspective Collective. It's just a side project that started off as just an Instagram. I needed a place to share my art under. Scotty Russell Designs wasn't really sounding that great, so I went the more abstract route. That way, if people didn't like my work, they didn't need to know me. So that's been a slow build. Drawing turned into blogging. Blogging led to public speaking, which led to workshops, which all led to the podcast. And so, yes, I do a weekly podcast for creatives. It's Fuel for Your Mind and Creative Grind every Wednesday to help you, take your work to the next level and overcome the mental game to, find those success stories. And I bring on some of the biggest names.
Your mind and the creative grind, because that is the best pitch.
Fuel for your mind and creative grind. So we're not only trying to help you elevate your skill set, but we're trying to help you win the internal struggles that come with pursuing work that's important to you, and showing up consistently.
Okay, we're definitely getting you on the Honest Designer show. That goes without saying, because we love that stuff as well.
Yeah,
it's a mental game.
Let's do it. It is all a mental game. Everything happens between your ears. So you can't thrive as a creative and do great work with great clients or build communities if you can't win the battle in your mind each day. So that's what it's about.
Yep. Let's give a quick shout out actually to people on the call. Michelle is completely agreeing. So is Mark. Great to see you, Mark. Looking forward to Friday. So who we got? We've got a bunch of people still joining, but we've got Lady T, Iskander, Nick, Heather, Mary Thomas, Rico, Kevin, Rachel. Good to see you, Rachel. Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Anna, Bori, Barbara, Deborah, Jeff, Juliana, Michelle, Eleanor, Jen, Tatiana, Etha, thank you, Jean, Tammy, Mariana, Sandy, Sonia, Richard, Scotty, of course, Mark, and Sarah. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day. It should be a fun session. Scotty, I regard you as like a bit of a personality, I guess, in the space.
Cool.
You get some boring people in this industry. I don't think you're one of them. You've got a pretty compelling story. I think your speaking career is really starting to take off as a result, by the sound of it.
For sure.
So today, are you comfortable doing some Q&A? And we're going to get that ask a question box at the bottom filling up with some decent questions.
We can do whatever the hell you guys want to do today.
Amazing.
Okay. Can you juggle?
Encourage them too much.
I can't juggle. I got my cat Lucy's here with me. My other cat Flora ran away. She gets a little bit shy, but if you want to see cats too, that's fine.
They love the cats.
Yeah, this is the right community for cats.
Okay. Yeah, I love cats, and you'll probably see a little bit of cat artwork too. So cats and pizza, that's my thing, and outer space.
Yeah,
so.
don't juggle the cats.
Don't juggle the cats, no.
Okay, so Sandy, Deborah, Jean, Michelle, they all want to see the cat. Is the cat to hand or
Come here.
And if you guys didn't see my message, at the bottom of the screen where you can see the video, there is an ask a question section. So if you've got any questions, please put them in there.
Say hi. Yeah, this is Lucy. Lucy's a big girl.
Yeah,
Flora, I'll show a pretty cool photo of them later too. Like I had someone take a photo and then they drew on top of it like an iPad and they turned them into space little kitties. So then you can get a good picture of both of them. She's bigger than my dogs. Yes, Lucy's a big girl. Lucy's a big girl. Yeah. Yeah, she's a snuggler too. So she's a big cat. Flora is a mama's girl, but Lucy's a daddy's girl. So
I love it.
Yep.
So yeah, guys, do if you hover over the bottom of the screen, you will see something saying ask a question. Click on that and you'll be able to pop your questions in. We normally get a bunch come in throughout the call and we can tackle them later on. But yeah, please, like anything you want to pick Scotty's brain on, anything you want to ask us as well, get them in there.
Thank you to Paul for popping one in already. Oh, here we go.
I just added one.
Oh, it's you. That was your favourite.
Yeah, let's start with that quickly. What is everyone's favourite type of pizza?
Yeah, let us know in the comments what your favourite.
Yeah, let's hear everybody else's favourite kind.
You don't really do pizza though, do you?
I like pizza, but I'm just, this body's a temple in January. I say.
Just in January.
Jeff said Hawaiian. This is sacrilege, the whole pineapple.
No, yeah.
Totally okay. If pineapple's on your pizza, that's your thing. You don't worry about what anybody else thinks.
I thought he said Chinese pizza, and I was going to get really excited because Chinese is my favorite food.
I've had a crab ragoon pizza before, and it was all right. Yeah.
Pineapple is awesome, Jeff says.
Everybody likes pineapple.
Chicken and pineapple is ever adventurous.
I actually like chicken and pineapple too.
Yeah, Mark's loving the pineapple. God, we're a bunch of freaks today.
I'm simple. I'm a pepperoni guy.
Oh, that's so American. I love it.
I know. And my favorite pizza is from a gas station, so that's even more American.
Oh wow!
Really?
It's a pizza convenience store chain, and their tagline is "More than a convenience store, we're famous for pizza." So,
that's cool.
My body's a temple 6 days of the week, but that one day, man, it's just right up the street from me, so I gotta get it. Mashed potato and bacon. That sounds different and delicious.
That's very different.
Wow, I need this.
That sounds like pretty English.
Yeah.
Cool, I love it. Scotty, are you happy to jump into sharing some stuff that you've been working on? Because people would love to, while we wait for the questions to come in, and definitely get those in, guys. We're going to check out some of Scotty's work, see some behind the scenes. Show us how the magic happens.
Okay, I guess I'll break down. So each week I really focus on something illustration or lettering based or even like a mural, but I try to create some kind of custom artwork for each podcast episode that goes out. And I've done, this week is episode 111. So over 100 pieces of custom episode artwork. And let me just show you kind of how I broke down this last week's, if that's cool. I'm also a coffee fan, big time into coffee. Got to find this share screen button again. Hold on. There it is. Share screen. Okay.
Yes to coffee.
So we've got some big coffee fans in the office.
Yeah. Is everybody a coffee fan as well? Most of you guys?
Did I hear coffee?
Okay. So coffee and cats. Perfect. I'm coffee and cats and pizza. Okay. So I recently just had a podcast on with my buddy Ben Haggerty. He goes by Ben Real Verse World. And he recently just got off tour as the lead videographer, the director, content creator for Jay-Z and Beyonce. Which is pretty incredible. And he's from my local whole town. So this is awesome. But he runs this group called Black with No Cream. And I also take my coffee black. So for this artwork, I kind of wanted to just represent not only his brand, but my love for coffee and my love for outer space and all kinds of weird shit. Is it, if I swear, is that bad? Should I?
No.
You're all right.
We're all adults here.
Okay. So I draw everything first. Usually I've really scaled things to work digitally in the last year and a half once I got an iPad. Otherwise, I was pretty romantic about the analog world and got kind of bitter when I saw everybody doing iPad stuff until I started doing it. And now I get the wave. So basically all my work starts in Procreate now just because it's so quick to sketch, and then I polish and finish in Photoshop unless I'm vectoring it. But really I break this down in layers. So we got the stars on top.
Can we go almost back to like layer one? Like how would you build something like this up?
Okay, so it starts with bare bones. I think it starts with the sketch, really. So I wish I had the actual file. Maybe I can find it. So I drew this on a coffee cup first.
We're getting some comments saying that swearing is good. I think that's Richard.
I'll keep it tasteful. So, okay, this was the original file before I cleaned it up. Okay, so I originally drew this on a coffee cup. Because he's the second repeat guest. Can I just pull up Instagram real quick and do this on the fly? Is this cool?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's how we do it on these calls.
All right, cool. I didn't know how like polished I need to be because I'm not a polished person.
No, this is not like a webinar. This is just a community hangout.
Really, I just wanted an excuse to scroll through to show you my Instagram feed.
Yeah, like and follow.
I
Like and
like your
follow.
tactics there.
Okay, so originally last year, this was for his first time being on the episode, and I just drew this design on a coffee cup, but I wanted to redo it to gift him as a logo as well. So I try to really be intentional and repurpose things because he's going to do gear and all this. So 2 projects in one, in a sense. And you can see how I broke this down. It's pretty much impossible to repeat this drawing, so I had to look at all these layers. This is the dirty file. So I had to redraw on top of it. Outline, hide that. So I drew this. Then you can see how I'm redrawing it in there. Can you see that?
Because the perspective is going to be off, so you're going to have to
exactly. So I had to redraw out my guides and everything. I think I still have my guide layers in here. There's guys. I do circles too. So if you're a hand lettering artist, here is the biggest tip for line consistency. Do we have any hand lettering artists in here? Please comment.
Yeah, leave a comment, guys.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I got a good tip for you right here. Okay. So
exclusive. #exclusive.
So when you're sketching out your letters, consistency and spacing is so important. So I use, if you're doing this digitally, you can work it quick too, or if you have a circle template, you can do it analog, but you want to keep your thins and thicks consistent. So I learned this from Ken Barber, who's the biggest name in hand lettering. He works for House Industries. So you want your thicks to be consistent. So make a circle, and if you're using on Procreate, you can just duplicate it, or you can just eye it optically by hand and put that circle within each letter. There you go. You can see it better now. So you can see right here, I got my thicks all consistent with the circle. You want your connectors. You want all your thin upstrokes if you're working with script. This works with serifs and sans serifs too, but all stay consistent. Does this make sense? Is this helpful?
That's
I would never have
helpful.
thought of it like that.
Yeah,
exactly. So this is how the process started. I took that image here. So this is all me working in Procreate. I'm literally sketching on this photo in Procreate, setting up my guides. Consistency is everything. So you want each character to follow within that angle. And I can show you some really past work where I had different angles all over the place. And, to an untrained eye, the lettering looks pretty good and all. But when you really start working with guides and shit and these kind of circle templates as well, you get so much more consistency within your pieces. And better consistency means better quality images, which means attracting better clients. And it means gaining more respect by the people you want to be respected in your field of lettering. And I think that's the secret I'm missing. Michelle, it definitely is. Once I learned this really stepped it up. Wilmer, what's up? Welcome. Wilmer's the homie.
You guys know each other.
Yeah, I know Wilmer. He's been an insane, massive supporter of my work over the last couple of years, and it's just great to have him on board with anything I do. So Wilmer's the man.
Nice to meet you.
And we preach this all the time. We're such a believer in community members like that. We're exactly the same here at Design Cuts. You've got to look after your people, right, Scotty?
Exactly. And I know him after engaging with people back and forth for years now. Even the smallest engagement means the world to me. And Wilmer stays engaging. He's purchased things from the shop. He's always repping it, sharing the episode. So Wilmer's the perfect listener. And I try to create people like Wilmer in mind when I create content to put out in the world. What's Wilmer needing? Let me try to create something that I know can be targeted towards them. Mm-hmm. But so back on point, this just all started with the sketch. And then I bring it to a fill. So I ink the outlines and I fill it on Procreate. And then I start building up my layers from there. So then it turns into this. So I'll break down the layers from here now that I have a dirtier file, not the clean one. So let me turn that off. Let me turn that off.
I see the bunch, Scotty. I love how much time and effort you put into each one, but I think this is my favorite one.
Yeah, I was scrolling through your Instagram earlier. And I was like, whoa.
Sometimes it's a little bit too much. I get myself in a bind, but I make the time to do it because I appreciate it. It's my outlet each week. It's where I actually get to create what I want to see in this world instead of the day job. I hold down a day job too for those who don't know. So I do freelance and podcasting and do the dad life outside of the day job. But so I do my fill here. And then I took that fill. We should hide those stars. That doesn't matter right now. And I made an extrusion within Procreate. I can't show you here on the fly. And then I filled that. Then I start adding in my shadows. And then I have a top layer. And then I have even more details that inline it. So you got your extruding shadows. Then you have your inline shadows. And then at the end, I add a flare of like the star. So I constantly build up my pieces. So each piece has depth, and I work with layers. And in Procreate, I work. Does anybody use Procreate in here too? I can give you some tips on like file sizes that you should use.
Yeah, we started dabbling with the team. Yeah.
Oh man, look at them flying right there, just learning. So each week, I try to create episode artwork that's 3,000 by 3,000. But if you use 3,000 by 3,000, you use a lot of layers like I do. Procreate fills up quick. And so I target it as a 2,400 by a 2,400 file, so I can get all the files I need. And then as I start working and building up all these layers, I start condensing layers as we go, and just kind of reduce layers. So if I have multiple sketching lines, like black with no cream, if those were 4 separate sketch layers, I'll just combine them as I start building up until I start getting the inking. And then when I'm done with my Procreate file, I've done as much as I can. I go and polish things up and I merge them. Yep. I'll merge them. I'll build them in the group at first because organization is key to me. You know, I thrive in chaos at times, but I think having those organized files is, you know, how a professional would work. And I want to be professional. Even if no one's going to see my files, it just helps me work more efficient. So be a professional in everything you do behind closed doors when no one's watching. You know, treat yourself as a professional, act like you do this full time, and eventually your mindset's going to align with your reality. So group more, organize files, and then as I build up the file, I merge them for sure, just to like save some time and effort and make it go quicker. But this is pretty much how a piece like this would be finished. And then I make a final file and I extra clean it up because my executive assistant, Paige Garland, I will then hand off the files to them. But here's a trick that I learned also to size up your files within Photoshop. So this originally was a 2,400 by a 2,400 piece. I believe it's, I won't do the key command. I'll show you right here. So in your image size, let me move this over. So this one normally was a 2,400 by 2,400, but if I wanted to scale it up to like say 4,000 by 4,000, have your resample checked. And then there's this thing called bicubic smoother enlargement. And then you would just hit OK. It gets all fancy, does its computer stuff in the background, and it'll scale your work. Rather, oops, I didn't have it proportionally, so that's on me. But anyway, you get the picture.
Is that new? Because I've never noticed that.
No, this is actually a setting that one of my past guests told me I had to have the link checked.
Lady
Yeah, that's badass. That's amazing because I've used Photoshop for so many years.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just
I don't know little hacks like that.
You still learn something new every day, don't you?
Exactly. And look, there it goes.
Yeah, why did I do that?
Scaled it up, like, especially if I'm saving it for web, or like this one I could export for some type of print. You know, you could cheat this slowly. I know another trick too is like, you know, grab your file, Command T to transform, and you could scale things up this way too. So grab your file, transform, and then I come up here, make sure my link is checked. And then I learned this from a photographer coworker. Just go up by 10%. Let it think, it's do its thing. And there you go. And then you can just keep repeating that command. So Command Shift T, you can keep repeating it by 10%, which is also a nice little trick if you need to scale stuff up. Oh, look who's back to join us. It's my cat. So, you know, that's a nice little trick when I'm working and exporting files from Procreate to then finalizing them and polishing them up in Photoshop. Yeah. Was any of that helpful? I hope that's helpful.
Jump in and let the guys on the call know, if this is the first time that any of you are watching and you haven't been on one of these before, this is actually being recorded. Sorry, Scotty, we probably didn't tell you that. But after it's finished, there will be a replay that you can go back and watch forever. So if you guys want to go back and make notes on any of that or rewatch what Scotty just did, then after the call, this will be there for you to go back and do so.
Yeah.
So I saw a question. Hey, did I cut you off, Tom?
No, I was just going to say it is definitely helpful. We get guests on, amazing guests every week. Some people just demo, and it's super interesting to see behind the scenes. That's like a mini tutorial.
Yeah, amazing.
And a bunch of tips thrown in, so like beyond helpful for sure.
And if you follow me on Instagram, on my stories, I literally break down the process all week. So I'm always answering Procreate questions. And if it's like a question that I answer that, you know, seems to answer a lot of questions, then I'll put it in my Instagram highlights as like tips. There's a tips section there too. So definitely go and breeze through that Instagram story highlight and get familiar with that. That'll answer a lot of questions. For those who are talking about vectoring stuff, I got another awesome, amazing program for you. If you're Mac based, it's this janky looking thing over here called Cocoa Trace. So I'm very fluent in Illustrator. I could vector anything I want to with the pen tool. You don't see a lot of my vector work, but for drawings like this, that I need to just quickly vectorize and outline, the image trace setting in Illustrator kind of does a shitty job sometimes, even if you go and tweak the advanced settings. So there's this app called Cocoa Trace, and I got this from Amir Ayuni from the Forefathers. He is just an absolute legend with illustrations, and he also is the one who did my episode artwork. But this is a Mac-based tool. It's called Cocoa Trace, and you just drop in a PSD file or your JPEG file, and it works incredible. Like, I picked up all of these amazingly with this Cocoa Trace. Oh, that's pictures of me, Ben Real Verse World. I think it was this. So I've made all these vector files here. I don't know if you can see that.
By the way, for everyone, I just put a green button center bottom under the video, and if you click that, you can go check out Scotty's Instagram. Definitely follow him there. This
piece right here is vector, and it picked up perfect, like absolute perfect. So this is called
a little noise and everything.
Exactly. It picked up the stars. So I made a layer for each one, and I'll put a link in here. So each one of these, I made him separate files, and I turned these all vector with this converting program called Cocoa Trace. It is a janky ghetto-ass looking site from GeoCities. It looks shady. It's in like Japanese, but man, this software works. So if you type in Cocoa Trace, I'll type it in here. So search that.
Let's get
and then on PC, that's on Mac, Cocoa Trace, and then PC would be Trace. I haven't used that, but that's what I was told it was. What it was. So this is another alternative form. If you got like these dense illustrations and you need a quick workaround, or maybe you're just not quick or advanced with the pen tool yet, here's a great way to do it. And this works great with my illustration style, especially if you're inking or you have lettering. And yeah, this thing is incredible. This is probably one of the best things I learned last year from Amir. And check his workout too. It's called Growcase, GR. I'll just type him up. This guy has insane work. Growcase.com, or find him on Instagram. He is inspiring, but I learned a lot from him as an illustrator. So if you're into illustrations, that's money. I'm going to turn off my heater in here. It's really hot.
Yeah, no worries. Guys, so we're going to jump into some questions if you're cool with that, Scotty.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want me to go back to sharing my screen or going back to my face? We'll go back to
yeah. Why not? Cool. So we got one from Paul here, and Paul asks, I work in graphic design, but I really love illustration. I do little bits of it with commissions and in my spare time, but I would like to do more. Have you got any advice for helping to make this happen?
I do little bits of commission in my spare time, but would like to do more. Do you have any advice? So I learned this. I brought on the Chutzpah twins on the podcast, and people like Lauren Hom, which I believe were just on Honest Designers really recently. So I bring these people on too, who have made a living off hiring themselves first. And what that means is by taking on the passion projects, what kind of work do you want to attract and get hired to do? So hire yourself as your own little passion project. So what kind of commissions are you trying to do? Maybe make a series of that, and show the process behind it. Treat it like it's a client work, a client project, make a case study of that. And that's probably how I would go about it. And when I post it, not only tagging these big feature accounts or using their hashtags, but, who are you trying to get hired for? Maybe try to speak their language, or if it's a certain company or brand that you're trying to track, like Starbucks or something for a coffee, make sure you are tagging Starbucks if that's who you're trying to get hired by, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's smart. And it's fun as well, because then you gravitate towards the stuff you actually care about the most.
I've seen Paul's Instagram as well. He's got the Instagram game.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. So he has the skills, but you just need to kind of maybe niche down, like market a bit more by the stuff.
Yeah, and there's a strategy to all of it. So like when I wanted to start attracting pizza jobs, like I'm weirdly obsessed with pizza and drawing pizza. I had to start like tagging accounts and this and that, or even collaborating with local businesses and offering my services. So my first job, my first pizza job was a chalkboard menu for a local pizza joint, and I went out and I engaged with them. I provided them value and established that relationship. And now they've paid me 4 or 5 different times for different projects related on large scale pizza mural art or t-shirt drawings or window paintings or something like that. So, but it also takes you to do outreach as well. So put in the work, but also do some outreach, send emails to people, get uncomfortable. What's the worst thing to do is tell you no?
I think you're going to like this example, Scotty, but I always advise going very deep with the outreach instead of casting a wide net, right? You come up with like a very small list of people, and then you go deep with how you approach them. And we had a guy called Benji, which I was just thinking about right now. So this guy Benji applied to work for us, and we got this custom box in the mail, and it had like a real personal letter. He was saying like he's listened to every episode of the Honest Designers show and huge fan, and put together some custom design work and just like this beautiful.
And there were chocolates
package.
in there.
Chocolate, like all kinds of stuff. It was incredible.
Nice.
And he even put in the letter, he was like, I learned this approach of pitching you from listening to your podcast.
I bet you were just like, oh, what an amazing move.
Yeah, I was like, what a move. And like, unfortunately, we didn't have the specific role open. But if we do in the future, we're absolutely going to talk to him. But it was such a cool thing. We ended up taking him out for lunch, myself and our creative director, and just gave him as much career advice as we could. I think we're going to be working with him on like some part-time freelance stuff just to get a foot in the door. And then from the advice we gave him, he basically went and applied to another firm with an open position. And I think he's making some really good headway. But like he heard back from their CEO and they were like, this is the best application we've received in 25 years.
And that's got to feel super rewarding for you too, because it falls on you providing value to other people and investing in people and going all out to serve. Yeah,
like I love that stuff. And I was so happy for him. But for me, that is the whole game. If you're looking to get more commissions, don't go and, don't do nothing. So don't sit there and wait for them to come to you. But if you're pitching, don't go and like spam 5,000 people or like bulk post your CV.
I was going to say, it's like when you apply for a job, right? And you have a cover letter that's blatantly just a standard cover letter that's
company.
Dear all, pretty much.
Like,
You don't really care which one you get. You just want a job,
100%. Like, Scotty, if someone wanted to come and work for you, if they did like a beautiful custom illustration celebrating you hitting 100 episodes on your podcast or something, that would mean a lot to you. Or like posted you like a frame one being like, congratulations, like I'm a huge fan, I'd do anything to work with you. That would go so much better than like a spam email being like, hi, I'm looking for a job.
Personalization is everything, and relationships are everything. So, not always people are going to be receptive, but you might strike up a huge relationships by being personal. Leave it alone, Lucy. Stop it. Fighting my cords, but personalization and putting effort into other people. People appreciate being appreciated, especially like what makes my day the most is sometimes I bust my ass to pour into this podcast. And for 2 years, or I guess for the first year, nobody really paid attention at all. And it's because I didn't have, a defined audience of who I was talking to. What was my specific message? What was my vision? And I'm getting that now, but my day is absolutely made when I busted my ass on an episode. Maybe it didn't get the listenership that I expected, but when I get like one message of someone saying this takeaway or how they created a piece of artwork based off of it, or it inspired them to create a series and they let me know that, like that makes my day.
Impact, right?
It's impact. And it's all about one person at a time. Exactly said. Well, trying to cast that net out, go for depth. And I try to speak to one person the whole time. You're never going to hear me be like, hey guys, hope everyone's doing great today. I'm going to be like, what's going on? I hope you're having a killer Wednesday today. I hope you're stoked for this episode. We talk about this, this, and this. So if you deal with this episode was for you. I speak to one person the whole time. Like I'm typing an email to one person.
I keep being like, dear listeners, but I'm going to be like, you.
Quit that shit
right now.
I think you'll get those emails. Like everybody wants that email of that feedback. Like, man, it felt like you were speaking exactly to me. And when you actually treat it like you're speaking to one person the whole time, I think your opportunity of getting those kind of messages really lets you know that you're landing home with the targeted content you're providing. So exactly like Lady T is saying with your newsletters, everything you write or any kind of content you put out there or a caption that you put out into the world, write it like you're talking to one person. That's like the biggest tip I've learned over the last couple of years of producing content.
I've got to give you this example, Scotty. Did you know what Stephen King does with this? So I think I might have mentioned it on the Honest Designers podcast at some point, but he writes for his wife because everything that goes into all his books, like he's like, would she find that funny? Would she find that scary? It's all for her. It just happens that millions of people share his wife's mindset. And
that's the beauty of now that I'm learning more and more of who is my targeted follower on Instagram. So if what I put out, how can this provide them value? Who is it for? And who is my targeted avatar? Who am I producing content for on my podcast? You know, and for me, I realized that, you know, I hold down a day job and I'm busting my ass to build my dream outside of it. And I'm realizing a lot of my listeners are the same people. How do you find the time to grind and shine outside of the day job? And that's who I keep in mind. It's the person with the day job. Maybe they have kids or some type of commitments. Like, how do they find this time and get over those internal struggles to put out work consistently, to show up, to be seen, to deal with the hater, you know, to deal with the inner critic. And that's the stuff that, you know, I try to speak to each week. And if I don't, if I get questions on like freelance or questions on things that I don't consider myself an expert in, that's when I go out and seek out the experts and bring on guests on my show.
And that's perfect, because it's like, I'm not sure, but like that person over there for you. They're the expert, or like you say, bring them on. But I think that honesty, you're not trying to cater to everyone. And that lets you brand yourself, because suddenly it's like you're the creative side hustle guy.
Basically, yeah. I'm really good with my time, but I've always had like I've been working a day job since I was like 15, and I backed into a car outside of a basketball game in a blizzard. So boom, I immediately had a job. I had like after school activities. I've always been involved with sports and clubs. So all I've ever known is having a full plate. So I'm really good at managing my time and treating my business like it's my, what's up?
We had this chat the other day. We were like, we fill every minute. And
I feel every
yeah, I get to the weekend and be like, oh, I've got an hour to kill. It's like, got to get a new hobby or something.
Yeah, and I'm learning that your most valuable tool is saying no, because saying no gives you more time to say yes to the things that you really want to take on in life.
Glad he didn't say no today. I wanted to give a shout out as well to your number one fan, Wilma. A few comments back gave such a lovely shout out. Just saying comments Scotty always bringing tons of value without expecting anything in return. Hence people gravitate towards you and become true supporters of you. Keep it up. Thank you. Wilma, you're like the nicest guy in the world, and you've got competition because design cutters are also incredibly nice here. Some of the regulars, but massively appreciate that, man. So glad
he's extremely supportive, and it's something I'm really narrowing the focus on. If you guys haven't heard of the concept by Kevin Kelly, 1,000 True Fans, like basically the whole concept is, in order to make a good living as a creator, my goal isn't to be super wealthy or famous. It's to have financial and time freedom to do the things I want and to continue to serve people and be available for my wife and my son. You know, I'm trying to leave a legacy for him and make sure I'm able to disconnect without feeling like I need to be plugged in all the time. But this 1,000 True Fans concept is, all you need is 1,000 true fans who will love, adore, and buy anything that you'll put out in order to, you know, make a living as a creator. So imagine these 1,000 people, you put out one product for $100. Basically, you have $100,000 salary right there in a perfect world. But that's what I'm going for. Is I don't need to have, you know, rock star status level like a Taylor Swift. I don't care about that. You know, I don't know why she came to my mind.
Yeah, that's rock and roll.
I like rap. But that's what I'm
James and Tay right up there.
Exactly. So I really try, and I think the key to that 1,000 True Fans, of getting those people who like support every little thing you put out. You don't need thousands and thousands of comments or likes in this. You just need 1,000, and that's where going in depth and making sure you're speaking to one person at a time and providing solutions to their pain points that you're qualified to teach and speak on. And I think that's how you do it, and responding and engaging with people. If someone takes the time to DM you, don't be a fucking asshole and ignore people. If people take time out of their existence to support you and reach out to you, it's your duty to give back. If you want this goal and dream of living this lifestyle and being a full-time creative as yourself, then, you know, make time to get back to people. Like I see Gary V getting back to people all the time, or Lewis Howes, people I get back. If people on that level, multimillionaires, can get back to people on social media, you and me who don't,
we got no excuse.
Yeah, we have no excuse. So just know I appreciate
the way to get to 1,000. The way to get to 1,000 is one.
Exactly. One person at a time.
Care about your work and, like, you know, be deeply invested.
Exactly.
Cool. I love it. I feel like we're on an episode of the Honest Designer Show. This is deep stuff. Actually, Scotty, I'm gonna test. We've got time for some more Q&A, so I'm gonna jump into them in a second. I'm gonna test your approach here. I'm gonna speak to one person, not the group. So you watching and listening right now, I want to see that ask a question. It's on 10 right now. I want to see it move to 11 because
you've got a good one.
need to put a question in right now. Is it going to happen, or are they going to?
I'd be like, man, I know you have a brilliant question lying within you. How can I provide you value? Please put that question below. Let me answer your question. I know you got one in there, so
Yeah,
get it on.
He's better than you, Tom. I'm afraid.
I know. Yeah, you nailed that. I just poked them.
Yeah,
you don't have to. You don't have to point at people. You don't have to,
Violence is
you.
not the
Yeah,
answer.
look, we're both poking at you here.
Get your finger out of our faces, Tom.
Or hold on, how about this? We withhold value, so it's still on 10. We're just not going to speak until someone puts a question.
I'll speak. I don't mind speaking. I always speak.
All right, I'll tell you what. You guys win. Fine.
That's all right. I must not be interesting, so.
Oh, it just went to 11. Who was number 11?
Who was it?
Thank you for number 11.
Oh, Richard.
Okay, Richard said, does anyone see my glasses? Scotty, what do you think? Anyone?
Does anybody see your glasses?
Scotty, Richard is the guy that I was telling you who does all the puns.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know. We were talking about you earlier, Richard.
I love that you've been briefed on Richard.
I love puns, so me and him would get along well. And see, I appreciate it's just the effort. If it's a bad pun, that's totally okay. It's just the effort. I'm the guy who's known for good puns and really bad puns at work, and wordplay and alliterations. I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you listen to the podcast, I do it often.
Scotty, did you see on my Instagram I posted a version of the egg thing? And
yeah, was that like the most liked photo on Instagram? I guess I'm missing the context behind it. It's like the most liked photo, or what is it?
It beat Kylie Jenner. The number of egg puns.
Thank God.
Sliding into my DMs. Literally, I opened my inbox and it was just wall-to-wall egg puns. Like every yeah. Okay, guys, we got some.
There we go. Look, my head's scrambled.
Right now. You said what I was going to say, man.
You've got to be
I feel
open,
like you
mate.
two are going to be busy nights.
She's cracking up. Okay. Okay, let's dive into some questions.
Now we've got 16 questions and they're completely not relevant. But
I go pee an hour after.
Yeah.
Just let it out as you go.
Mark asks, keeping your brain calm and focused, how do you do it? And shout out to Mark. He runs the Creative Waffle podcast. It's very, very good. Go check it out. And he's a very nice guy.
I'm going to find keeping your brain calm and focused. How do you do it? This is a daily thing that I learn how to do. I think focus is everything. Showing up each day with intention, strategizing how you're going to show up for the week and each day, mentally as well as like physically with your task. For me, I've recently gotten into meditation, and that's more at nighttime to it's just like 10 minutes before I go to bed too, just to like allow me to turn off the switch. It gives me permission to be like, okay, your day is done. You've done everything that you possibly could. Usually I focus each day on just making sure I get one big thing a day. And I can talk about all this. I got a product I'm building and a free resource all about time management outside of a day job. But meditation and working out, those are big for me. A lot of us creatives don't take pride in keeping ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually fit. And I think that's big too. And then just having a vision, knowing what you're working towards each day instead of, kind of winging it and having a defined route that you're going. So for me, I know that what I'm trying to build with my podcast, I want it to be a top 10 design podcast by 2020 in iTunes. So I need to show up each day with this vision, this mindset, my goals. So everything needs to go from that. And if it doesn't align with that vision, then I don't need to focus on it. It's easy to say no.
Do you use like an app or something, or do you just meditate by yourself?
Yeah, I was going to use Headspace app, but at the moment, since we got the newborn, I promised my wife I would chill it on anything that's like monthly membership kind of stuff. So I just find free 10-minute guided meditation things or anything on YouTube. There is so much out there, and I just make a playlist.
Yeah.
Love it.
And that does the trick.
Like you said, Calm is an awesome app. That's the one I use, actually.
Calm is a good one, too. Yep.
It is. My girlfriend hates the woman's voice, but I don't mind it.
I feel like everything related to meditation has like a British voice that's successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Headspace is great as well. He's got such a distinctive voice. It's quite like nasal. welcome to meditation. It's
I
like one of
love
those.
it. And like the YouTube channels I follow, like it's all British accents, and I'm like, wow, this is so
between.
Yeah, are we lulling you into some kind of trance right now, Scotty?
no,
Just
we must
boring.
be lulling them. Oh wait, never mind. We got questions coming in now, so I was going to say lulling.
I'm gonna keep digging in. So Sarah asked, do you ever feel burnt out? I find it so hard to keep going 100% and not get burnt out. What do you think?
Especially if you have a little baby too.
Yeah, you've got loads going. Like,
for sure.
Burning out? It?
Yes and no. I think burnout comes when you're trying to do too much, where I've experienced burnout before. But I fucking love what I do so much with Perspective Collective that it's really hard to get burnt out. So one thing I'm trying to do more just to avoid that when I feel like it's an endless grind is maybe after every 7th episode, maybe I just take a week off from the podcast. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, you have to hit it weekly to hit your target goal of like 500,000 or 1 million downloads or get to that top 10, when really, you got to take care of your body is a temple, and you got to take care of yourself first. And so if I'm feeling burnt out, maybe I need meditation, maybe I just need a week off, this or that. And that's how I approach it. It's self-awareness for sure. And I'm getting better at it.
I think self-awareness and for me, discipline.
Discipline.
Because I'll slip into the overextending. For me, it's super hard if I'm feeling inspired or I want to be working on something to be like, no, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to stop and force myself because I know it goes down a bad path. But that's all discipline and experience of seeing it so many times. When you don't listen to that, it doesn't play out well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen to your body. And that's a hard thing until you like go through spurts of where you might be depressed or fatigued or anything, I guess you have to go through it and feel it and learn from the experience. Like we all deal with, those low moments of burnout or depression, but it's what's the lesson you can take from it to avoid it the next time around, or how do you can respond better the next time around. So I think burnout is inevitable, but if you have something that like makes you so geeked before you go to bed each night or gets you so stoked to wake up each day, it's a lot harder to find that burnout, but you just need to be more strategic, focused, and disciplined about it for sure. Easier said than done. Yeah, I'm learning. It's been 5 years of a slow and steady daily grind. I've been put out some type of weekly content pretty much every week since I've started, but there's been weeks I've needed to take a week off. There's been needs to, go every other week for like a stretch of 3 months. I did the podcast every other week just for my mental clarity, or like my wedding was coming up, or my kid's coming up. So I need to take a kid's coming up. The release date of my kid is coming up, like it's some kind of product launch, but so I have to like plan ahead and know like I'm going to be really burnt out during these times. Pump the brakes. People aren't going anywhere. I'm not going to be judged for this, even though my brain, that internal critic is like, oh my gosh, people are going so much harder than you. You don't deserve this right now when other people are working while you sleep, this and that. But all that's super important.
We quick before SJ jumps in with the next question. We recorded the Honest Designer show last night, and Dustin, being like the most well-read man in the world, quoted someone. I'm going to murder it here, but the gist was basically everything is less important than anything. And it's so true. We beat ourselves up and freak out over missing a day on posting on Instagram. No one really cares. Like, it doesn't really matter.
There's that saying, isn't it? If it's not going to be important in 5 years or whatever, then you shouldn't spend more than 5 minutes or whatever thinking about it. I don't know exactly, but
exactly.
It's so true.
I think there's also that, I think it's from Dr. Seuss, people who mind don't matter and people who matter won't mind. And I want to be around the people who don't mind, and I've noticed my circle of friends and everything is kind of, as I get more focused on my dream and building this, you start to realize who's really like the true friends and family and everything like that, who will stick around. They understand your vision and they agree and they, still want to support you with it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we have another question from Lady T, which says, would you say, I think she means doing podcast helped your business?
Significantly. Honestly, showing that you're more than just a polished Instagram drawing, or like understanding and believing that I was, really changed my life. And then the blogging is what really helped me get my thoughts and my ideas out there and kind of opened up the vulnerability side, because I had some internal shit I really needed to work out with my anxiety that I deal with as a creative. I got prescribed medication, all that for stuff, or like depression spouts that I've went through. And that helped me kind of find my voice. Within podcasting is what just blew it all up from there. And I'm getting into video soon too, because people keep asking for that. And that scares me. So, find the things that scare me are the things I'm seeking out to normalize them so they don't scare me anymore, to unlock that next level.
Have you always been confident, or was it something that you were like, okay, I really need to do this?
No,
I haven't had confidence for like the first 25 years of my life. So it really started happening.
Come across, like really relaxed and chilled and like super confident on camera.
It's slowly getting there. And also believe showing up with conviction and confidence, but as well as transparency.
Yeah.
So I get the butterflies before I go on a talk, but I'm trying to project confidence because I want people to really believe in the ideas and the words that, I'm trying to spread. But if you show up without confidence, and it's hard for people to take you serious at the same time or vibe to what you're doing. So my early episodes of the podcast were definitely not confident. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm figuring out. I definitely don't have anything figured out. I'm just slowly becoming more comfortable and embracing who I am, my own identity, especially within the last 6 months. I'm finally like, this is who I am. I don't have to care if the people I want to respect me don't respect me. That's fine. We're all on different frequencies. I say you can't make everyone happy. You are not pizza. And I spent my whole life trying to be pizza because I grew up getting bullied and picked on and grew up just a loser. And, I've had some rough spouts and adversity I've had to face in life. And until I started accepting, like, I'm not pizza. My work's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to love this or that. And that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But when you accept that, then you're able to embrace who you are, what you're doing, how you show up every day, what intention are you trying to, show up with. And that's me. I'm embracing my identity. At the age of 30, I'm starting to figure it out. So you're not pizza. If you're in the you think like you're pizza, you're not pizza. Right? You don't have to be pizza. And 30 is so young. I'm stoked. I feel like I haven't even found a prime yet. Like this is 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Like I'm going to just bust it wide open, especially with the whole video side of living in the video world. So that's the next step.
I love it. I feel like you're just getting started, right?
Yeah. I'm just figuring out. And 5 years into it, I'm just figuring out the next level. There's always a new level, but I think in order to unlock that next level, it's leaning into that fear. What's the thing that you're most afraid of? Because what I've learned, the thing that I'm most afraid of is, that my intuition is trying to nudge me to that person I'm supposed to become. And that's usually wrapped up in fear. So sharing my artwork was the hardest thing. I didn't even share I was an artist till I was like the age of 20. And one of my friends stumbled across my stash of sketchbooks in my room. And I carried a sketchbook and drew my entire life, but I was scared to get bullied or that's my cat moving my computer.
I was like, where are we going?
Yeah, but it's those things. So I was scared to share my work. Started sharing my work on Instagram, and that it gave me the affirmation, like, wow, I can actually do something with my art. There's a market for it. And then going to Creative South for the first time, that's what inspired me to get into blogging, because I have a coaching background with sports. I played college football and blew my back out a couple of times, and that got me into coaching. And, that was a bad time back then, and I hated that. But little did I know that was like setting me up to who I am today as a creative coach. And so blogging terrified me. Public speaking terrified me. Teaching workshops terrified me. Podcasting terrified me. And now doing video terrifies me. That's the next step. So find those things that, if you're scared to hit publish, that's probably the thing you need to be doing. That's how you're going to deliver impact and value to the world.
I've always been told feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes, feel the fear until it disappears.
Confidence lies the other side of fear. I don't mean to kind of throw out
I like that one. Who said that? I'm stealing that. That would like nice letter.
Quick.
Yeah, TM. It's so true though. It's like that is, if anyone struggles with confidence, the best way to become confident is to do the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You do the stuff that scares you, and then you just kind of level
Eventually
up.
It won't scare you anymore.
Yeah, like when you're on video 100, you're like, no, this is fine.
Remember those days where I was worried about this?
I've talked about this on the show. Like I was there with the phone shaking and just terrified to film myself.
Which I still can never get over that you ever felt that way.
Yeah, now you just sit down and you just talk and you do it in one take and you're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Same with the podcast. If you go and listen to episode 1 of your show.
I don't do that. I can't do that.
Like that. It's so awkward.
Well, and I think so many of us good things aren't happening to us because we expect them to come, but you got to shake things up, get out of your bubble. Like, I live in a very small town in a very small state where there's not a lot of opportunity around me. And I believe these stories, like, we believe the stories that we're told, and we believe these stories we fabricate ourselves, that, you know, I'm from a little town in Iowa. There's no way I can make my dream happen. If you choose to believe that, that's exactly the outcome you're going to attract. But when you break that mold, or when I say, screw it, I need to get out of my bubble, and I go to a conference like Creative South and I see this whole new world, and it gives me a little glimpse of this potential that I'm able to, you know, see in myself. You just need a little glimpse of your potential. And once you see that, it's game on. You know, then it's up to you. Do you go full savage mode and go all out on this dream to become this person you want to be, or you just settle with how you've always known life to be? You're comfortable, or playing the victim and all this and that. And I played the victim for too long, and I caught that glimpse. And now, you know, I keep catching this new glimpse, and that's the person I want to become. And I'm going to make it happen by getting uncomfortable. So basically I could have just said, get uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's how to do it, folks. Got another great question from Angela M, who says, should you create the art you love to sell or help others? Thank you. I mean, I presume this is a pretty easy question, right, Scotty?
I put an episode back out not too long ago, and I think it's a two-step approach. So when you're in the beginning and you're just trying to, like, dip your toe in the water, you're trying to figure out what your style is, your message, your audience, definitely put out the work you love, right? Just, wave your freak flag. Like, for me, putting cats in my art, like, I spent my first couple years being so filtered, only scared to offend people, trying to create what I thought was hot in these trends I saw work being featured. So I wanted to do that too. But then if I wasn't getting, like, the engagement, or I wasn't feeling great about putting out, it's like, I didn't even want to create this in the first place. So in the beginning, getting traction, you know, show yourself in your work, experiment, mess with different mediums. And when you start gaining traction, you build a following, and maybe you're attracting client work. Then it goes into this next step of, you should be attracting the work you want to do, and you create work for someone within your style. And that's where, like, for me, I have a certain message I want to say, but I've attracted these kind of people that vibe to this message. So now I'm creating work that I know is for someone. You know, this is what someone wants, but it's also what I want at the same time, if that makes sense. I'm
just reading through the comments as well on the side, and just goes to show what you said earlier obviously works, because Sandy said that you are literally speaking to her. So she's from a small town, lots of in-house work, so scared to branch out and freelance, or even have the confidence enough to think that she can do it. So again, you said you were speaking to individual people, and it worked for Sandy. So
the word is resonating. That's a word we like to use a lot. Scotty, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, some reason it just cut me out, but I came right back in. But it sounded like you kept talking, so you wouldn't even have known I was gone.
So I do that a lot. I just keep going.
We got a question from Lady T, who said, you mentioned having 1,000 people buying a $100 product. What do you include in a $100 product? Just before you jump in, Scotty, to clarify with 1,000 true fans, it doesn't have to be one $100 product. It can be $100 spent over the course of a year. That
exactly.
1,000 different formats. But let's say it is a $100 product, a one-time purchase throughout that year. What would you put in it, or how would you make it $100 worth?
So I was definitely just trying to do a quick scenario that added up quick with math for people like me who don't like math. But what I'm really gearing towards, or someone like a product or a service. So I'm realizing more and more the biggest pain point of my audience is how to make time to grind and shine outside the day job. Okay. How to thrive and execute your dream. And so for me, I would start building what I use each day. I have a system. I wanted to call it the get shit done system, but you know, that's probably not going to resonate with everyone. So it's the creative grind system, because I'm on this creative grind, and I have, you know, this strategy, this plan that I approach each day. And so I would probably build some type of, not only a product from there, but build some type of course around it. And I think $100 for a course that could help you, you know, reclaim your day each day and show up intentionally to build an audience, to build confidence in yourself, is priceless. You know, that can attract you commission-based work or a mural job or anything right there. Like, to me, you know, a course that could accomplish that is easily worth $100. I've spent way more than $100 on a course before. So if I had this podcast of people who I know this served, and a Facebook group that I know that this is like people's biggest struggle, and I provide that solution to their product, you know, I feel like say I had an audience of 5,000 people or 5,000 people or 50,000 people, or, 3,000 people listen to this episode or whatever, that's an example of a product I would build or what I'm striving to build that I think that could solve that pain point as well as get me to making a living as a creator. Cause I see people like Lauren Hom and other people doing it all the time.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I guess the only thing I would add is people only generally will spend money on something if they think they're going to get more value back.
Exactly. So and people buy from those they know, like, and trust. Yes,
that very much as well. And so, nail the branding 100%, but always try and bring more value. So spend, whether they're spending, money on coffee at Starbucks or buying a course or your services or whatever it is. For me, the easiest way to sell $100 product is to make it worth $1,000.
Exactly. And you want to be able to allow that person to visualize the change they're going to have. Yes, how much value it is, but one of the best books right now, if you're wanting to figure this stuff out, is Seth Godin's This Is Marketing. Speaking to a defined audience. Yes. Oh man, that book is game changing.
Yeah, but it's good so far though.
It speak to that change, speak to that transformation people are gonna have, and like you're saying, let them see that extra value. Like, this is what you're paying, but this is the value you can get from, especially if you apply yourself.
100%. Scotty, as we are coming up on time, very sadly, I could literally talk to you all day, but we've got a call tomorrow, so we can continue then, I believe.
For sure.
But we've got this cool thing. We've got this new weekly challenge for the community here. I believe the team over there are putting it all over social media, all the cool entries that we got last time. That was kind of a nod, yes, and a thumbs up. Cool.
Did you manage to see them, Scotty, in the forum before you came on?
I didn't, because I had a meeting before I came here.
I want you to, because you said that you like puns. So I think I feel like you.
I'll check it out when I get some free time today, for sure.
Let's jump in super quick. Have you got like 5 minutes, Scotty?
Yeah. So do you want my assignment right now?
No. We're going to have a super quick look.
What do you want? What are you wanting from me right now? Sorry.
Oh no!
What do you want from me?
We are going to share our screen.
Okay.
Just go through super quick some of the entries from last week's, and then Scotty has bought this week's challenge, which I don't even know what it is.
No, neither do I. It's a surprise.
Nobody knows.
It's not hangout homework this week.
It's going to be something crazy. Okay, so can everyone see our screen? Yeah. Scotty, can you see our screen?
Sure can.
All right, amazing.
We can't see the.
I was going to say we can't see the comments.
We can't see the chats or anything. So.
Everybody's saying yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So this is the thread, and the theme was puns. So I freaking love this one.
Thank you, Richard, for the pun meister, for kicking it off.
So, Judge, young man, the court requires you to justify your actions. How's this, Your Honour?
Can I just say I had to ask Tom to explain it because I was like, I don't understand.
Again, we're not seeing the comments, so hopefully people like them.
This is going down well.
Like this one, for fuck's sake. Turning Lisa Glanz nice and adult there. Love it, Sandy. Then we've got
Paul.
Yeah, Paul. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles. that might be my favourite. I actually love that one.
I saw that on Instagram as well.
You have to let us know if people are saying much, Scotty. Richard redid his one.
I think it's when someone else comments on it.
Ed now, we've got Run Forest Run. Loving that one as well.
Right, I loved this.
Design Cuts Community Hangover. Ooh. A few of them over Christmas, I will tell you. So that definitely resonated. Love it. And Roses Red, Violets are Blue. Puns should be fun, but I don't have one, so I'm rhyming instead. Deborah. Creative solution to the problem. Apparently, you can't use beef stew as a password. It's not strong enough.
Okay, yes, I'm appreciating these.
That is amazing, Michelle. I've actually never heard that. Lot of food puns from Nick. Bay Leaf Magic. That's actually a really good piece as well. That's amazing. So, guys, all of this are going to go all over our social media to many thousands of people. So I appreciate you taking part. I don't think people did it this time. Next time, if you're on Instagram, social media, let us know your handle because we want to tag you up when we feature it.
This is
on our
brilliant.
stories.
I've never been told that before.
Booby trap spelled backwards.
It's party
Party
food.
boob.
Carry on.
Boom.
Mine's
That
own.
is incredible. All right, we're going to stop sharing. Are we back in the... That's amazing. Guys, bravo.
That's funny.
These are amazing. Scotty, what have you got for
Yeah,
this
what's
week?
the hangout homework?
I had to wrap some context around it, so I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Sure.
All right. So when I was able to start like embracing my weird quirks and showing weird stuff in my work, it all kind of happened when I started talking about my love for cats and pizza. So I want to challenge people. Well, and it's funny because this one little drawing was just done on a lunch break one time at work. It was National Pizza Day. And so I went home on my lunch, my lunch break, and I just spent an hour doing a time lapse and drawing of this cat floating in space. I love cats, I love pizza, and I love outer space. And it ended up turning into a mug that like sold out 215 minutes, stickers, designs, prints. It's been my most profitable thing, but it's also led me to doing another mug over here of cat and pizza that sold 420 minutes of hand thrown mugs. And so right now I'm currently on my third mug with this company called Deneen Pottery in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I'm bringing this on out. I'm also a dog fan too, but I don't show it enough. And this one's for the dog people. So now I'm doing space dog. So space cat, UFO cat, and space dog. So my challenge here is to you. Combined not only your favorite animal, but with your favorite food in some type of setting, some lettering or something with it. But basically the whole gist is creatively combine your favorite animal with your favorite food. All right, just get weird, wave your freak flag, embrace those weird quirks about yourself. So if you really love like penguins and you really love gummy bears, how can you mix that together? Could you make a penguin gummy bear? You know, just something like that. So,
Okay,
you know, me combining these. So me combining, and put it, if you like something else, add in like a third element. Like I really am obsessed with outer space and UFOs and aliens. So I mix that into the mix too. So, you know, those are your main two, but then you mix in all those other workhorses and you'll find out when you share this stuff that you're going to hit on multiple target audiences. And these mugs did so well because it not only did cats, it did outer space, it did pizza. This one has mountain ranges, but it also was on a coffee mug. So I'm hitting just a massive broad audience that I didn't realize I was doing. So that's just another way to just start thinking differently. How can you mesh two worlds and bring them together? So
I love that.
Challenge.
That's my challenge.
And have we got a thread for this?
No, literally, as soon as I finish, I'll pop the link in the thread in the channel.
I'm going to update the link right here.
So keep your eye here, and we'll pop the homework chat open in there so you can post your entries.
Cool. So, guys, if you check out just below the video, green button saying challenge section, keep that open and refresh it in like 20 minutes or something. We're going to start a thread. SJ's going to set it up with the brief that Scotty just laid down. Hopefully we can share a couple of examples from your Instagram, Scotty, just to give people some visual inspiration.
Yeah. How about this? Anybody who participates in this challenge, please tag me at my Perspective Collective Instagram, and I will share every one of yours who participated today. I will share everything. I'll reshare it on my stories.
That's
so
incredible.
Connect with me. I want to kick it with you guys and reshare, show you some love back.
And likewise, Design Cuts, of course.
Yeah, so I have put in there about the hashtags. We've got a Hangout Homework hashtag.
Yep.
And the
the
hashtag. So I'll leave it in the thread, but make sure you're tagging it up on Instagram so we can repost you on our side as well.
Yeah, remember, what was it?
Yeah.
Hangout Home. Hashtag Hangout Homework.
The mouth trick there. But...
Cool. Scotty, this was one of my favorites. Thank you so much for bringing unbelievable value. I always feel pumped after these, but I feel even more inspired than normal. So appreciate it.
And if you guys do have any more questions, Scotty is now signed up and in the forum. So hopefully, Scotty, if you've got some time at some point, maybe just jump back in the thread and see if there's any more questions that have come through for you in the forum after the call.
Are you guys cool with being on my stories real quick? Can I say goodbye to everyone?
100%. I mean, all right. As long as you're
here
happy.
I am. I'm finishing up with my Design Cuts family. All my friends in the chat. Look at all you beautiful souls out there saying stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you. Connect with me. Let's just all stay connected. All right. I love to get to meet everyone as much as possible. So, that's the beauty of the internet. So
Scotty,
Thank you.
it was incredible. Thanks again, and everyone on the call, jump in the forum. Scotty's going to be in there chatting more with you guys. Share your work, participate in the challenge. It's going to be fun. The forum,
And don't forget your homework.
Yeah, hangout homework. Yeah. The forum's going to be big this year. I can feel it. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you tuning in. Scotty, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Everyone else, we'll see you this time next week.
Cool. And join the private Facebook group if you want to connect with like-minded creatives all around the world. The Perspective-Collective. Sorry. Forgot to say that. Okay.
And in fact, no. Let's do this. Scotty, can you just in the chat? Can you just put a link to your site? Actually, sorry, I was so excited there with like the whole thing. We need to plug you up. So we've got people following you on Instagram already, but let's get your website in there.
Well, my website is a hot mess. I'm currently in the process of redesigning that on the side, so don't judge me.
It's all right. I'm going to help you with that tomorrow, so don't worry.
Yeah, I have big plans. I just need to lock down my focus for things.
Mm-hmm.
So there's website, and I'll plug in the Facebook group.
Cool, and we'll link it up as well in the Hangout thread and the homework.
Cool,
thread.
man. This was way more fun than I didn't even know what this was going to be about. So this was awesome.
They're a good bunch, right?
Yeah, you guys are awesome. I appreciate everyone being here. This was blew away any expectations I had. So this is fantastic.
Well, thank you
Likewise.
for taking out the time of your day as well.
All right, and I appreciate you guys. Much love. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
See you
See
soon,
you next
man.
week.
See you
Where's
soon,
the
everyone.
leave button? How do I stop? Do I just exit out?
We're going to end it.
We'll
Don't worry.
kick you out.
Bye.
Bye.